Hello, everyone, and welcome to Little Learners in a Digital World, the talk show where we explore how preschoolers are growing up in a world filled with screens, swipes, and so many learning opportunities. I am your host, Alicia Henry, and joining me today are some incredible guests. In fact, they are a group of early childhood experts. We have Miss Nikita Date, Miss Deidrean Moore, Miss Nelson, Miss Faith Noel, and Miss Bernetta Harry. And they will help us unpack how digital access and digital literacy are shaping early childhood education. So, what can we expect from today's program? Of course, we're going to define digital literacy and why it is important for young children. We'll also explain how internet connectivity and technology enable the acquisition of literacy. We'll also look at some of the obstacles, right, of digital access and some of the solutions to go along with that. We'll also look at how assistive technology can help children with special needs, and that's very important. And lastly, we are going to see a demonstration of vocabulary acquisition through storytelling. That should be very interesting. So that's our lineup for tonight. So let's get things kicked off. Let's talk about what digital literacy actually means. Now, according to UNESCO, digital literacy is about accessing, managing, evaluating, and creating information responsibly, right? So digital literacy goes way beyond the mere use of a tablet. It's what we call being tech savvy, right? And in the instance of preschoolers, this would include them understanding symbols and being able to follow instruction. And also it will be the beginning of them navigating the online space. Okay? Now, why is it, before we hear from our guests tonight, why is it important for preschoolers to be digitally literate? Digital tools help develop early numeracy and literacy skills. So they learn their numbers, they learn, their letters, and of course, how to think critically because they will play games and other things associated with that, right? It's also preparing them for the future because we live in a world filled with technology, right? We use it every day, work, school, everything, right? So in essence, it enhances school readiness and their cognitive development. Okay, now let's shift gears a bit. We are going to go to Miss Nikita Date. Can you tell us how does access to the internet and devices at home affect a preschooler's literacy development?
All right, thank you very much. And first of all, that's a great question. So it gives children access to amazing tools like ebooks, phonics games, and literacy apps there that are fun and personalized. Secondly, it encourages shared reading time between parents and children, which boosts their language skills. And lastly, it keeps kids engaged and excited to read by using songs and animation and rewards.
Nice, nice. So that sounds like it opens a lot of doors, right? Parents get to spend time with their children, the games and so on. It enhances their literacy. So that sounds like a lot of benefits there. But the thing is, we know that not every child has this opportunity at home. So, Miss Nelson, can you tell us about some of the challenges families face when it comes to digital access?
Absolutely. One major barrier is economic. Many families just can't afford tablets or stable internet. Then there's location. Children in rural areas often have poor connectivity. And don't forget about parents. If they aren't confident with digital tools, they may struggle to help their kids.
And how does this affect a child's learning?
Access fall behind in vocabulary development, digital confidence, and general school readiness. And that's what we call digital divide.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's look at some of the solutions. So we recognize that it's a good thing. We saw how beneficial it could be. But we also saw that there is a problem. Not every child has access to that. So, Miss Moore, how can schools help bridge that gap? What are some of the practical classroom solutions that, teachers and caregivers and so on can implement?
Okay, thank you. So one effective idea is rotating table stations. Each child gets a turn using high quality educational apps under teacher guidance. It promotes equity and allows personalized learning, even for those without digital access at home.
Right, excellent. So that's a very good plan. That's a very good initiative because, it's a smart way to ensure that everyone benefits. So a child coming from a home that does not have internet access or access to a device, they still have that opportunity to learn about the online space, to navigate that online space and, be able to interact and a fun way to learn online, right? It teaches them how to use technology wisely and not just passively as opposed to just watching some cartoon or some show like that, right? So that's a great initiative that schools can take to help bridge that gap. And even while we're bridging that gap, we still know that there are still other factors that could hinder a child. So, Miss Noel, we know that not all children learn the same way. So can you tell us how does technology help preschoolers with special needs? Because, we're always hearing about inclusive education and so on. So how is it possible for children with special needs to be able to use technology? And how? How can they do that?
Yes, it's possible. Assistive technology can be life-changing. Tools like speech generating devices, text
Mhm.
to speech software, or even slant boards and pencil grips help children with disabilities participate meaningfully. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Lady Choice Special School uses a range of assistive tools to support inclusion and learning. It's about giving every child a voice and a fair chance to succeed.
Wow, and that is a beautiful way, a very beautiful example of inclusion in action. So we see not just the average child, quote unquote, but also a child with special needs. They too can, participate and be a part of what is happening. Very nice. Now, we did say that storytelling can help with vocabulary, right? So let's not forget the power of storytelling in this narrative, right? So, Miss Harry, can you tell us how does digital storytelling help build vocabulary in preschoolers?
Thank you for having me, Terry.
Yes.
Sure. Digital storytelling helps children learn new words in context. They often can, they often include images, animations, and songs to reinforce meanings. Plus, children can replay stories, giving them repeated exposure, which is key for vocabulary growth. Here is a perfect example of a digital story to do just that.
All right. So thank you for that. So we're reminded that a digital story can help with vocabulary building. So now we're going to look at the screen for a while. We're going to pause and look at the screen and let's see how this story can help with vocabulary acquisition. The story is titled The Adventures of Maya and Coco, the Lost Pets. Maya woke up one bright morning and stretched her arms. She looked around her room and blinked.
Coco,
She called, but there was no little meow, no soft furry face, no kitten at all. Where could she be? Maya jumped out of bed. She looked under the bed, then on the table, and even in her toy box. But Coco was not there.
Mommy,
Maya called.
Coco is gone.
Mom came quickly and gave her a hug.
Let's take a deep breath.
She said,
We can find her together.
They looked all around the house, behind the couch, in the closet, and under the table. Still no Coco. Maya felt a little scared inside.
What if she's really lost?
Mom held her hand.
Let's not give up. When something is hard, we stay calm and try again. That's called being responsible.
Maya thought for a moment. Then her eyes lit up.
Coco likes warm, quiet spots.
She said.
Maybe she's outside.
They walked into the backyard. The sun was shining. The grass tickled Maya's toes. She looked around carefully. Then she gasped. There, behind the big flower pot, was Coco, curled up fast asleep.
Coco,
Maya laughed. She scooped her kitten into her arms.
you silly girl, you scared me.
Mom smiled.
You stayed calm and you solved the problem. That was very grown up of you.
Maya smiled too.
Next time, I'll check the backyard first.
She gave Coco a treat and made her a cozy bed by the kitchen.
This way, you won't wander too far again.
She whispered. That night, Maya curled up in bed with Coco at her feet. Her heart felt light and happy. She had learned something important today. Even when things are hard, staying calm and thinking clearly can help make everything okay. The end. And boys and girls, I hope you enjoy that story. We also have some sight words that you can learn. We have 5 sight words. They are no, up, all, sun, and bed. Can you say them after me? Can you say no? No. Up. Can you say up? Up. Then we have all. Can you say all? All. Next, we have sun. Can you say sun? Sun. Then we have bed. Bed. Can you say bed? Bed. Very good. Happy learning, boys and girls. All right, so that was an excellent story. That story indeed showed how young children can acquire vocabulary skills. Yeah, they had words at the end that described words from the story. It was words from the story, and the children were asked to repeat the words. You know, they could go back to the story and look for the words. All of this is helping with vocabulary building. And one of the things that I saw, that I noticed, is that Miss Harry, correct me if I'm wrong, if the children they use this story, well, they use their device, they can repeat it, right? You said that they can repeat it over and
Yes, they
over,
can.
right? And that helps, you know, repetition helps a lot with learning.
Yes.
All right, so that's a wrap on it for us. Today we learned digital literacy. It's much more than screen time, right? It's about preparing children with the skills that they need to be able to thrive in today's world. We also saw that it boosts literacy, it strengthens communication, it levels the playing field for all children, especially, of course, when guided by adults and caregivers with thoughtful strategies, right? So, from classroom with rotating tablets to assistive technology with children for children with special needs, the future of early childhood lies in inclusion and innovation for digital use, and that is very, very good. So let's continue to work together, parents, teachers, and community folk. We thank you for joining in. We know that you tuned in just to listen to how you can help your children. So today we learned that it's not just about them having just screen time passively, looking at cartoons and so, but they can really learn a lot using their device. Okay, so we want to encourage you to ensure that every child has the opportunity to learn in this digital world because it is all over, right? Here are a few sites you can get further information from, right? You can go to these sites and they will guide you as to how best you can further help your young one with their digital literacy. So thank you to all of our guests, right? The early childhood experts who joined us here tonight. Thank you for joining us. Little learners in a digital world, we are happy that you're here. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and don't forget to unplug once in a while. Okay, that's it from us. Goodbye.